welcome to the Omega Podcast, where we delve into the inspiring stories of entrepreneurs, motivational coaches, and business leaders. Join us as we hear about their journey to success and the challenges they faced along the way. We'll uncover their secrets to perseverance and determination and gain valuable insights into what it takes to reach your goals. The journey may not be beautiful, but it is always purposeful. So sit back, relax, and be ready to be inspired by those who have dared to dream big and make it a reality. Hey, everybody. What's going on? It's A.M.P. Welcome to another A.M.P. podcast, aka the A.M.P. Today, I'm excited. We have a wonderful guest. I mean, he is a multimedia artist. He is an author. He is a podcaster, and he's here to talk about art and creativity. You know what I mean? Or rather, like his podcast is Smart of Art. Let me introduce the only Mr. Michaell Magrutsche. How you doing?
Hi, Al. Good to see you.
Thank
Thank you for giving me a canvas to paint. Yeah.
So let's get this artistry going, Michaell. So again, thank you for coming on and chit-chatting with me today about the smart of art. You know, I dig the concept and I dig the direction where you're going. I definitely want to share this with our listeners and viewers today. So just a bit about yourself. Where are you originally from?
From Vienna, Austria. And I came when I was 18, 20. I came to the States. And then I just went into more and more deeper. I was already in the arts when I was little because I was neurodiverse. I couldn't understand anything in school. So I'm totally.
Wait. So for people that don't understand, so what is neurodiverse?
It's dyslexia. It's switching letters, cannot speak, stutter, and cannot regurgitate. That's the thing. So I can take you a context. I can talk to you about a context of things, but I can't regurgitate. If you tell me, say this sentence again, and I cannot repeat it, you know? So it's a brain thing. And also eye hand coordination is off. So when I write something that's called dysgraphia, if you write something 5 years ago legibly, I can read it. But if I write something an hour ago, I cannot get the context. Not a word. I'm talking about if I write a couple of sentences, I cannot get the context of what it means, what it is. So I lose that. So I'm best in the moment. I'm not good if I prepare for anything. I just have to push myself into, and then I function, but I'm not functioning if I prepared.
So was this understood that you were going through this as a child?
No. They said you have dyslexia, but you have to still do the tests as everybody else. You have to speak as everybody else. You have to read in front of the class like everybody else. Okay. And it's not much different now. I'm an advocate for this neurodiverse people, and it's not much different. It's better, but it's not much different, you know, unless you put them into a special school or whatever. But nobody wants to go in a special school because then you feel like you're not belonging. You want to belong, you know, to society. Yeah.
So how did you apply yourself to be better? Because now here they're forcing you, unfortunately, as a young man, and not understanding what you're going through. So how did you adapt, if you will?
I was always good with people. I was always, and probably because I couldn't be a system navigator, I couldn't be good in systems. So I couldn't be an Elon Musk because he's a good system navigator, right? I had to learn everything myself, understand it on my way. And art creation was one thing that helped me. And when I was 30, I realized all my jobs were art related. So from selling tapes out of my trunk to be a fashion show producer, DJ, advertising, film, movies, always creative. So I, with 30, did a major decision, which I know a lot of artists don't do. They don't call themselves an artist. They think the society has to first say, Al, you're the greatest artist, that you then say you're an artist. But then you're dependent on other people telling you're an artist.
Yeah.
I knew, because it saved my life and it made me exist and be a part of humanity, that art was it. And that I couldn't, even if I wanted to be an accountant, I couldn't. You know what I mean? So the art was my lifeline. And about 5 years ago or so, I couldn't handle it. I mean, this is how we come to the Smart of Art. I couldn't handle it by always seeing the statistics that 97 to 99% of artists worldwide are living, existing around their poverty level. And I said,
Wow.
crazy, all over the world, not in America, not in Brazil or somewhere, all over the world. 97 to 99% of artists, they can't do anything else because most neurodiverse people are in the arts because they can't do anything
Huh.
else. So that they are around, they exist around the poverty level. They're not, on the poverty level, but they just make it. They just make it. They get a little
Yeah, they're
job.
barely making it. Yeah.
And you know it. You know all the artists, There's very few that make it. And all the artists lying to each other that they're going to make it somehow, but they don't. I mean, I sold $11,000 painting like 7 years ago, and I still use that for the other. I'm not using it anymore, but I use that. So when I say, "Oh, are you selling anything?" Yeah, I sold an $11,000 painting. Yeah, 7 years ago. So and the market changes all the time, and that made me write this book, The Smart of Art, the last one that I wrote, and that made me so aware about Smart of Art, where I say we always focus on the art product, and we are unconscious of the creation process because it
The
saved my life.
artistry. Yes, the
The
artistry.
artistry. We never focus. Nobody cares unless your name is Leonardo da Vinci. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about you. They always,
See, isn't that
and
true?
yeah,
See, for me, this is this is where. Thank you for even bringing that up, because this is where
yeah,
my question my next question was, is like, what is this common perception, right? That art is a hobby, right? Because from where
they,
I'm from, in my country, like for example, comic book artists, they're not
yeah,
respected. That's not art. What do you mean it's not art? We've had some of the greatest artists, but yet it's a
yeah,
hobby. That's kid stuff. So
yeah,
how do you feel
yeah.
about that perception?
Because the system only, when the system says Al is an artist, then everybody says Al is an artist. But when the system says Al is over, he's not good anymore, then another artist is the artist. It's always the whatever is the flavor of the day, and we are treated like a product. We're not treated like people that have a conversation with the non-physical and keep having this conversation. The clearer the conversation becomes, the clearer you understand that art product that person created, because he's using this conversation. It's like the non-physical is when you sleep. You're not physical. You don't know. I mean, you're dying every night, and then you come back into your body. And this is what I tell when people are afraid of dying. I said, you die every night, so don't be afraid of it, because you just, and that
I never
conversation.
thought about it that way.
Yeah,
You just freaked me
but
out.
the product that we create, Al, is the product, is the symptom of that conversation. So if I had a good conversation with you, the art product will be clear and understandable. If I'm distorted, if I'm drunk, if I'm whatever, and I create something, then the art product, people don't say, what the hell is that?
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean all the people need to understand it, because the energy of art, as you know, wants nothing other than being created and exposed. It doesn't say when you create art, you gotta have 15,000 listeners, likes, be famous, get a lot pay. That has nothing to do with art. Pay and your social relevance has nothing to do with creating art. You create art because it wants to be created, and you have the gift to communicate, to create that. And it doesn't matter what it is. You can't say, oh, comics is not art. Bullshit. There's no definition in what art is. It
Mhm.
is something that you create out of nothing. It comes in as inspiration, and if you want to do comics, I'm multidisciplinary. I do music, everything, and I do it when I like it. I didn't like to paint the last 2 years. I created some paintings, but I wasn't drawn to it. I was more drawn to writing, and before I did music. Whatever is your muse at the time, you take it. And you know that even the famous artists are multidisciplinary. And then they say, oh, they should stick with singing. They don't want to stick with singing. They want to go act. They want to paint. They want to do other things too.
They want a
to
podcast.
learn about the expression. You know, yeah.
Yeah, they go all over the place. And again, so um, describe your creative voice then.
So my creative voice is loud, gregarious. I'm not afraid of contrast. I'm I want the feeling of empowering people, bringing the energy to the table like I'm doing now. So I'm living my artistry. What I preach, I deliver. I have hard contrast, a red thing with a light thing. I don't care. It needs to be a dissonance, because dissonance is spirit. It's a lot of energy. That's why you look always for a contrast, in art, in everything, in music, and because it's strong. And then the highest form of art is all soft, because that the differentiation of tones, color, pale colors can be enticing, almost like it's so soft, that painting, it's not feminine, it's soft, that it just blows you away because it is so unique. And the same with music. It could be heavy metal, and then it could be something so slow, and you say, "Oh my God, listen to this music," and that this is a higher form. I think the softer, the less contrast. You know it from cooking. Very easy. You throw in a pepper, you throw in garlic, and it makes every shit good.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So you put some chili peppers, jalapenos, onion, garlic, soy sauce, and everything gets to tasty. Get tasty. But then you eat something, whatever, a flan or something that is very soft, and you say, "Oh my God," a cheese, or something, and you say, "Oh my God, this is amazing." And this is what art teaches us. When you an artist, you can look at everything: your food, music,
Okay.
writing, and as humans too. You can look at humans and say, "Oh, this person has that," and it's an acceptance that everybody is a part of the whole.
All right.
It
So, let me ask something here though, because talking about humanity, human creativity, spirituality, metaphysical, right?
yeah, yeah.
Does AI have a place in all this? Would you consider AI art even art?
No, AI is a copy, because ChatGPT is a copy tool. It's a copy tool. It's the biggest plagiarizing. It works on plagiarizing, on patterns that humans created, that it copies. And what we basically say with creating AI is our hope that we don't have to do the tedious jobs that we have in our jobs, basically. So we want a machine or technology to do the tedious job of searching, of writing a draft, so we don't want to do any system work. We want to create the new, the fresh. That's what sells. It's not the one. I have never heard of AI that it was number one in the Grammys, or the AI was the best movie, or AI. And it's all possible with AI. You can do everything,
Well,
but it's just various pattern put
I
together.
believe an AI art piece won some type of award. I know there are now completely AI art, comic books,
Yeah,
stories I've seen, and and actually get good reviews and whatnot, which I find weird. But for me, it lacks the humanity, the right the there's something
yeah,
missing in it. It's because people would say the words that I write, the prompts, that those words is artistry in itself. But I disagree.
no, no, no. You know what the sad thing of AI is? If I use AI to communicate to you, right? And art is the number one communication tool. It's understood when you draw a little house on the whole in the whole world. They understand. They don't need to speak your language or whatever. So
That's
it is the most powerful communication that we have as humans. And the second one is to talk to each other. Yeah, because we can plug in. We never met. You and I can just adapt to each other and communicate. So we don't need AI to help us communicate. But what is happening is it the technology is when I'm asking the humans, do you want to communicate with so I think I'm communicating with you, and I
Yeah.
have an
I'm not
AI.
AI.
Yeah, no, and you are not, and I have the AI email program, and you have an AI email program that sorts and responds to my email. So what the hell are we doing? Either we talk to each other or we don't. Who wants to communicate through AI? Nobody. And through AI altered, we see this is a $2 billion business, the dating business, and we see that it's falling because the people have no results.
Mhm.
Something we always hear, of course, in systems, you always hear about the results that work, but that 99% of YouTube videos are not viral, that you don't hear. They only
Yeah.
promote what works. And that's the same as history. It's almost like saying everybody has to be as successful as Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos because they just show us what's possible. But that's not what everybody has to do. Everybody has to contribute whatever they have. And since we are and that makes the sense of the of art. If you Why do you want, if I say with comics, it's interesting because comics, it's less human, even though the comics make all the human gestures and everything.
Yes.
But an AI movie in the comics I can understand, but I'm not saying I'm for it because I still think the energy that somebody that draws that or selects what is happening is always changing because our time is always changing. We are changing. So it's not a static thing. Okay, all rats act like this, all mice act like this, all whatever, ducks, act like this. So the
Mhm.
personal tweak, and there's such a difference between comics from one to another. This has this kind of feeling, and this has that
Mhm.
kind of feeling, and this is more for women. This is more for guys. This is an adult movie, comics. So there's all these different things, and I don't think that I'm saying, would you go to a to a movie that is always an eye that look like humans, but it are no actors? You can't relate to them. Would you go to an art opening where there is nobody? There's just the AI machines. There's a computer in the middle, and say, okay, we created it with this, but there's no star. The whole
Yeah.
stardom issue that you want to touch them, meet them, talk to them is completely gone if you have it with AI.
So a loss of another sense of connection to the
I know.
artist.
Yes. 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 I mean, what is art if it's done by machine? Would you go in a museum? Would you pay also? Would you pay $1 million because art created a machine, your art that you want to buy?
So long
Let's
as it's
say,
not shredded.
yeah, yeah, but that is just to force
Yeah.
people to do that. So uh, that was just a great thing of Banksy. That was a great to shred
Yes.
that art. But in general, and it was a point. What is the art worth without the original? And Damien Hirst tried that. Damien Hirst tried to do it with the dots and then let the people decide if they want the print, so the digital NFT, or if they want the original. And if they're not, then they destroy the original. But I think that devaluates the human work. That
Yeah.
said, okay, we copied that piece of paper, and then if you want it digital, you can have it. If not, we destroy it. That's just semantics. That is not
Yeah.
anything. I mean, I don't know. I just would you go in a concert that is done by not musicians but by AI
Holograms.
holograms? No, not even holograms. You just go in a musician, listen to music. There's
No.
not even
Yeah.
in disco you dance to it, and the DJ has you communicate with the DJ. But so that's I think that's what's missing. We have forgotten the value that a human has.
Oh,
And
a hundred. Thank you. That's the whole point. That you led exactly to where I
yeah,
wanted it to go.
yeah,
Exactly. We
yeah.
have value, and it's a value that no machine could copy.
No, because in nature, we are still part of nature, and we've forgotten that because I don't know if you have, when the last person I heard that says, oh, we are a species of nature, because we don't believe we belong in systems and we don't belong in nature. We are somewhere in between and try to balance both, and we can't because we just have created an habitat of systems. Like, right, we are born in a hospital, we are going to school as a system, we get baptized as a system, we marry as a system, we get a job, it's a system. And because we're navigating in that, we think that's our habitat. It's not. Nature's our habitat. But we chose to play Monopoly. We chose to play this game where we can exchange money and all the systems are
Hmm.
based on money. But in nature, what happens, and nature is perfect. It always adapts. It doesn't have a surplus that needs to be destroyed. It doesn't have a lack that it needs. It always balances and harmonizes. And in nature, your value is that you exist. That's the proof that you have worth, not value, but worth. You have human worth in the whole because you exist, and there's no laziness. It's not like there's a system conditioning. Oh, you're lazy, you don't work. It doesn't matter. You don't have
Hmm.
laziness in nature. Everybody knows what they do, and they do it. And nobody has it sunny every day because you're a living being and you
Yep.
expand always. The dog tries always to get one over you, and then because every living being expands. When you expand, you hit each other. You
Yep.
know?
And you state that us humans, right?
Yeah,
Speaking about us, that we inherently have superpowers, specifically
yeah,
three of them, you
yeah.
state. So can you elaborate what are those three superpowers that lie within all of us?
Number one, which you see, the eagle sees better, the dolphin swims better than us, but we have the ability to create stuff. So we created New York, we created Singapore, we created every company, every state. So we created systems, their religions, everything we created. And that's why our first superpower is creation. And obviously, art creation is the highest because it has no purpose. It just created, from God or whatever you believe in, universe. It comes in and you create music, paintings, poetry, whatever. Then the second one is what we're doing right now: healthy dialogue, not I'm right, Al, and you are wrong, or I'm wrong and you are right. It's about
Hmm.
exchanging. And what happened, science says so, that we alter our brain. So our brains are different after our conversation than before, and we can do nothing about it. And the third one is also what we do: we adapt to each other. We adapt to each other. And adaptation is important because if we couldn't adapt, we wouldn't survive slavery or war, diseases. We adapt constantly, because that's the proof that we are part of nature. It adapts also. And the problem, only what we don't see, is that we adapt to systems so that systems keep functioning. And now it got to a point, because we are 8 billion people with different eyes, with different fingerprints, with different DNA, that the systems are too limited and we are too conscious, So we see all those systems collapsing, because we have to alter systems. We are the gods of systems, so we can alter them. But systems want to live like they live. They're static. They
Yep.
made $1 million. They need to make $1 million and $25,000 extra to get in the next quarter and next quarter. And they're working on a symptom that nature doesn't work. Nature works. You have a good harvest, and then you have a couple of bad harvests. All the systems don't work like that. They work on financial principles that have to gain every year more, better, cheaper, faster.
So we just spoke about superpowers. So let's talk
Yeah.
about our weakness, right? Basically, like you say, man-made systems being something that is wasting our life force. So
Yeah.
can you elaborate that? Like what part of our life forces, are being affected
Okay.
by these man-made systems?
The best is tax, because this is the best metaphor for that. So you have a new president. The president say, I need to get a new tax system, and I want to hike this, and I would go lower this because that's according to my political agenda. Now you have a lady or a guy with 5 kids who is good in writing tax codes, and he writes the new tax code. And he puts all his energy to have a tax code that you cannot circumvent or whatever. On the other side of the tax system, you have a mother with 5 children, and she wants to navigate the taxes to pay the least taxes. So nobody is a winner. Everybody's a loser, because we spend so much money and time to create it and navigate it, and to try to manipulate that the other one cannot do the thing. And so what really happens is it's human against human.
Mm.
And when we are aware, we are not aware of it. We think, oh, the horrible IRS, or the horrible this and this and this, the system, is horrible. But really, it's human against human, and all the humans are suffering from the financial principles where in the old days, our parents, our grandparents, they worked probably harder physical than we, but they worked hard to live.
Yeah.
Now it changed. We're working hard to survive. And there's a big difference. When you push humans in a corner, they're like a rabid animal. They're just crazy. And guess what we see in the media? Not Al and Michael that do their job and are happy and going on with their lives. You see George that is wacky and jumps almost off the building. You see the housefrau that beats her children. You see the politician that is crooked. You never will see anything in media that is normal, because they wouldn't get the attention. So it's we need to be aware of that. So I don't watch media at all.
I think
I
we
don't.
are aware, but we just aware towards the negative. And why is the human brain or our attention so attracted to negative
Scarcity.
energy?
Scarcity is what, but the system works with every day it should be sunny. And that we told you that every day isn't sunny because you're a living being, you're expanding, and you bump into other things while you're expanding. And the second lie is, if I can do it, Al, you can do it. That is the greatest lie ever. That is like a system lie to make everybody the same. No, I need you, Al, for doing the best you can do, and I need me to do the best I could. And together we are stronger than each other alone.
Yes.
That is the correct thing. And we don't see that. We and that's why I say awareness trumps all. And that's why I am a creativity awareness educator, because I just plant seeds. And then the seeds, either you take the seeds or you discard it. But if the seed plants in there, it's growing in you. And once you're conscious, what do you think is, if nobody wants to go to war in this world, do you think we would still have 200,000 people dying in the last war?
Oh,
we wouldn't. No. If we say no, we're not going to go. The war is the seal on we've failed as a human race.
Yes.
We've failed as a human race. If we cannot talk it out, and if the leaders want to fight it out, put them in an MMA cage and let them fight it out. Yes. Don't make it on the other people,
Yeah, I saw something funny that was related to aliens. Hey, look at the Earthlings. They have nuclear weapons. Wow,
yeah.
They've developed them. Wait a minute, they're not pointing it at the sky. They're pointing at each other. What is wrong with them? Right?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. It's
so sad, right?
We are unconscious. No, we are unconscious of the systems, because you tell me humans that wanted war. Never. It's only leaders taking advantage of systems and then fighting other things, but they're disturbed themselves. I don't think that Putin is a bad person or Zelensky. They're just disturbed humans that get crazy. They want to
caught up in the emotions.
Yeah, no, it's conditioning over generations.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's generations that systems, we are blind to systems. We are blind to our humanity, our power. And everybody that works in the arts knows In the arts, it's not about the CEO knows what the guy on the bottom does, putting that shoe together or putting that iPhone together. If he doesn't do it right, he gets exchanged like a piece of garbage. Yeah. But in a theater play or in a symphony, if you can have the best conductor, the best violinist, if the oboist doesn't do his job, the whole performance is gone. So art is always the blueprint how we can actually work together. That it's about the whole. It's never about, oh, it's a shitty oboist. No, it destroys the whole thing. It's like if the guy had the power that puts together the shoes or the iPhone, could topple the whole company. And that's what's wrong. That's why if you want to look at systems, look through art creation. They show you how people can work together, how people can do the unimaginable, because we are masters in survival. 98,
absolutely.
99%.
Comic book industry is a perfect example where, with COVID, artists and writers were completely separated. So here they are
Yeah,
now using, man-made tools to
yeah,
connect. Here, one person in the United States, you have an artist in Africa with an
yeah,
editor in Switzerland, and
yeah.
a letterer in Spain. It's like, wow, look how systems are developed to help us work together, and they build wonderful and beautiful projects. And yet, as a whole, the world can't do that.
No,
Insane.
that's why we are the carrier of what of humanity. The value of humanity lies in the artist, not in anybody else. It's the creators. Tell me somebody else who carries it. Not a doctor, not anything. Artists are the ones that constantly having collaborations, working together, having don't care about gender, race, sexuality.
Mm.
It's just like, hey, you create,
So,
you in.
so let me ask you about that then. Now that you hit that, how do you feel about political correctness in art? Is it necessary?
No, because I will tell you the secret, the answer to that. A system created human problem cannot be fixed through a system. It only can fix where people talk about it and say, listen, let's go with that. That doesn't make sense. It's like in the and they gave out cigarettes in hospitals in maternity wards, right? So that then the hysterical woman calmed down. And they found out, oh my God, this is really this could be dangerous to the child. And the research came out. They didn't have to create a law. They just stopped it. You didn't
Yeah.
have to say, oh, you can't smoke in hospitals anymore. They just stopped it. And the
Yeah.
same is when humans are aware. When I tell you what I tell you, and you tell me what I tell, and we come to conclusions for ourselves, then the change will happen automatically. When people find out, you hear from people that are drug addicted, alcohol, nicotine, everything. They stop from one day to another. Say, how is this possible? I can't stop. When you are aware what you're doing to yourself or to others, and you're really aware, not just saying, I know it's bad, but
Yeah.
I'm the exception. I can smoke 80 cigarettes a day, and I'm the exception. When you are aware, you stop. It's that simple. It's over. It trumps everything. Once you're aware, you don't need 3 steps. You don't need to go a lecture. You don't need help or coaching. You just change automatically.
Gotcha. Let me ask you, because I know you have this wonderful website, and I know
Yeah,
as we spoke, we're not here to sell anything, folks. It's just some
yeah,
knowledge. But I want you to go and support the homie too, because he has been speaking about he's an educator, self-aware art education. So can you talk a little bit about what is that stuff, the art
yeah,
education, and how do you help others?
yeah. So self-aware art is something and you asked me, the first question was, or the second was, what is your creative voice? It is the discovering what is your uniqueness, how is that expressed in your work, in your music, your paintings, your comics, or whatever, and being able to verbalize that and explain the process. And I created that in 2015 in Laguna Beach.
Okay.
And that movement is a real growing movement, that a self-aware artist means he knows, he's completely aware why he creates, what he creates, and he can explain it, verbalize it, and explain it to others what he's doing in step by step. Most people, they don't even know. They say, I don't even give it a title. I just paint and let the people think. No, you need to express what it is that you're expressing. If you're not aware, how somebody else should be aware? If you can put a title or something that triggers something, I know you can put mystery in it, but still have to know yourself what is important. And that's what I think that's where the whole art movement is going. They're going away from what we discussed, from the product to the magical process of creating. Because in creating, we learn about life. And Rick Rubin, the music producer,
Of course,
he wrote a wonderful book. It's called and I have to give him a plug because he's literally he just came out with it. It's called The Creative Act, A Way of Being. And it shows, it's almost like the Bible for creative people. And I would primarily ask creative people to read it, not the normal people, because normal people read my book first and then his. Because or listen to my podcast first and then listen to his. Because his is deep. But you understand it. You as an artist understand it. But you have to have a certain time in creating, experience in creating. And then you can really grow from that book.
Just want to check out the book. Got some information. Got to go ahead and click through, folks. I mean, look, this is the link right here. You want to show it? It's also below. You click away.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I like this. The new art consciousness right here. Functions of art, the artist's voice, and heightened aesthetics.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. It's once you're looking at production and you milk that process. See, I thought, why are we poor? Because we always focus on the product. But any product you create, you don't know if you're going to get rich on the product. If you don't have fun creating it, how do you want to? You're communicating your frustration of not selling the comics, the painting, the poet, the music. You're putting that energy in your product. You need to say, oh my God, I love to paint this painting today or make that comic. And then, you at least fulfilled. If you sell it or not, selling is the icing. It's not the point. It's not the end never justifies the means. It's the process, because you're wasting all your life focusing on the end. And then what you have is what people do, Olympians and people get the Oscar, they get in a depression afterwards because they fought for that, to get that. And then they got it. And then nothing changed because it's just a system accolade. The system says you did good, but it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, good boy, good girl.
No, it's the same. I worked with Robert Evans, the guy from The Godfather. I co-produced with him. It didn't do anything to me. It didn't. It was a nice experience. Like I would work with you. It's a nice experience, but it didn't change my life.
The trajectory went nowhere. It stood the same, huh?
No. It's just you do it. Everything is the same. You just get a system accolade, but the system accolade doesn't make you happy or fulfilled.
No, it does. You're absolutely right.
It's just a short jaw of fulfillment that you are on the right path. Perhaps I don't know if that's even guaranteed that you're on the right path. But it doesn't. It's not a fulfillment. But when you love creating,
when you're in the moment.
Always, every moment is fulfilling.
Yes, when you're in that moment, in that creative process, that's where the fulfillment should really come from. Especially when you see the end product of your creation, like, oh, look how beautiful of what I've made is. I mean, no better feeling than that. No better feeling.
And sometimes it's not. You know that. Sometimes you feel it's shit. And then you put it away.
Because we're our most toughest critics. Because, us, ourselves. Our toughest critics. As we should be. We should be our toughest critics, but we should also be our own number one fans at the same time.
Exactly. That's a perfect saying. Thank you, Al. And you know what? I always recommend when people don't like what they created, don't throw it, toss it, don't throw it away. Just put it away for 3 months, a year, and then pull it out, because then your ego is out and you look at it as as a different person, like a different person, because you became a different person in that year, in the 3 months. And you look at that, and I've never seen anybody that wanted to toss their painting. They went back after 3 months that they tossed it. They actually embraced it, or they
Yep.
knew exactly, oh, I needed some yellow here. It's like, oh, I needed some music. I needed just strings here. And then the thing was perfect.
It's funny. Same thing in comics. I've spoken to many creators that have
Yeah.
said, when I asked them how long or
Yeah.
when did the idea birth, and they're like, "Oh, to be honest, 15 years ago, 20
Yeah.
years ago," and I shelved it. And just recently, I was like, "Hey, I have the time. Let me go back to this." And then all of
And
a sudden, it is their latest project.
they're amazed by it because they wouldn't
Yes,
try to release it, right?
isn't it
They say,
beautiful?
oh my God, they went back and, oh my God, it's not that bad. I thought it was horrible. Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing. And other things that you do to help too, is this podcast. 30
Yeah.
seconds out of a time, the smart of art. I love that name. That needs to
Yeah.
be on a t-shirt everywhere. I'm digging it. So talk about the podcast and frequency.
Yeah. It's what it is. It's like my mentor. I like to mentor, and I think it's so sad that we have no mentors anymore in the arts. It was all about art, mentoring. And I thought, if I just put a quote and a question for artists to listen, or humans to listen, that, because we are all creative, and just listen to it and let it percolate. And just the awareness that you get from these, I think, 135 episodes is amazing, because I have feedback that people tell me, oh my God, it's just so little. It's just 30 seconds. Everybody has time for 30 seconds.
Yes.
And I'm thinking about it. I'm answering the question for myself, and in that they grow.
Wonderful. See, folks, and this is available on most platforms, as you can see below. The link is below. 137 episodes. Everybody got 30 seconds of time. So, come on through,
Yeah.
listen, support, subscribe. Look, you can even message and let Michael know how much you love and how inspired you are about what he is doing. I mean, amazing stuff. I am digging it, Michael. So you also a speaker and all. So are you going to be doing any speaking engagements anytime soon where we could see you and shake your
Uh,
hand and say hello?
I have done
He goes,
200 interviews since last March on all over the world
wow.
about art and creativity. So I'm always somewhere. I was yesterday on 2. I'm today with you. I'm just put my name in YouTube, and you can listen, and you can put a comment there. Because I don't know what let me see what is if I can. Is it easy to find what I do next time? My next one is on. No, it's the next one about art is on Tuesday the 14th, and I think it's in Africa, but it's always shown on YouTube.
Awesome.
Most people. So put my name in the YouTube, and there's at least 100 on there.
We'll definitely do that, Michael. Thank you so much for sharing so much about art, creativity, human nature, and all. I'm digging the energy. I'm digging the vibe. Thank you for what you do and sharing that journey with others and helping others also explore and have that sense of awareness that is so important nowadays that we all need for us to grow as humans and produce a much better world for the future. So again,
Al,
thank
you're
you
a
for
champ.
being a contributor.
Yeah. You are a champ, Al. Thanks for
Thank you. I appreciate it.
thanks for giving me a canvas to paint.
You're wonderful. And folks, you know what it is. Please follow Michael everywhere. You can connect with Michael on the website. All the links are below. Please check out the podcast, Anchor FM, and everywhere else that you love. The hashtag is Smart of Art. Check them out everywhere. You know what it is as well. Check my extended family over at comiccrusaders.com for all your pop culture stuff, as well as undercovercapes.com. And please subscribe, turn on notifications to the Al Mega Podcast. Thank you again for your time. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Much love.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Al Mega Podcast. We hope you've enjoyed listening to the insights and stories from our guests. Remember, success is a journey, not a destination. And every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goals. Don't give up on your dreams and keep pushing forward. Until next time, thank you for tuning in and stay motivated.